Mr. Herrera, I want to let you know that I reviewed the PSI. I always review everything. And then even though right, even though I remember this case and I remember all the cases that come before me, I still will go back and review the stipulations in the PSI report. So I can only go off of what's in the stipulations in the PSI report, right?
Yeah, sure.
Now, I see in the PSI report, it seems as though you're saying, and your attorney can correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm assuming you don't want to testify. It seems that you're saying that there is some issue with the great grandmother, that she instigated this, that she can get the complainant to say whatever she wants her to say. But then I see that, but then the stipulations say something completely different.
Mhm.
So with regards to the stipulations, this doesn't appear to be a probation case for the court.
Mhm.
And I'm basing that upon page 3 of 5, and I'll show that to you. And it's the first paragraph.
I understand, Your Honor.
All right. So the court is going to deny your application. The court will find you guilty of count 2. And counsel, you wanted to speak more towards the cap or no?
Yes, Judge. This is the cap of 8 case. If, as the court's denying his application for deferred, we're just gonna ask that the fact that he went ahead and took some responsibility and that he's pled no contest, and took this offer. And, it stops the complaining from having to come testify. We'd like the court to take that into consideration along with the fact that he has no priors. How old are you?
I'm 39.
39 years old with no
Wow.
priors, Your Honor. So we're just asking for some type of reduction in the max offer here of the cap of 8.
All right. The court is going to find you guilty of count 2, give you credit for any time served, Chapter 62 registration. There's to be no contact with the complainant, and the court will sentence you to 8 years in the prison. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, sir.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And I'm sorry, sir, remember when you release, you'll need to register. If you don't register, that's going to be another offense. You understand?
Understood. Sir.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
And then you had I suppose, did you already rule on it?
No, I haven't ruled on it.
Okay.
All right, who's the prosecutor on John Barry? Court is calling 2024 CR 012861 State versus John Calvin Barry. Sir, you need to move over. John Calvin Barry Jr. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense.
Renee Munoz for the defendant.
And are you Mr. Barry?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we are here because there is a second and third violation report. The second violation report from pretrial services is that you have not made contact with them, and they've tried to make contact with you. The third violation report, you were rearrested on an offense, and that's 2025 PF 02617. That was probably with Judge Nahara. So with regards to the third violation report, any recommendations from either side? Do you want a bond increase? Do you want him to continue? He's in custody on the 2025 PF 02617 case, which is a theft case. and it's a third-degree felony theft case. And on this case, it's a theft case. And there's some issues where they say that he's been referred for Center for Healthcare Services.
We requested bond increase and just as conditions of bonds should the court given to him the special understanding.
And Your Honor, if I may respond, in reference to the second violation report, I did go over that matter with my client regarding the reporting. He stated that he was seeing Center for Healthcare and reporting to a case manager, that they wanted to reschedule a certain meeting. And he showed up and they weren't there and they counted as a no-show. He had been checking in reference to the third violation report. Judge remains silent as to that. We asked that he be continued on probation, be continued on pretrial bond with the same conditions, Your Honor.
All right, so why wasn't he reporting to pretrial services? Because in the second violation report, they called all the numbers they were given.
I was reporting, ma'am. It's just they were giving me a hard time. I called and left messages and I was calling in. It's just I could never get a hold of my officer. And for me to never get a hold of my officer and for her to never check her messages, my mother even was trying to get a hold of him. She could never even get a hold of her. But the thing is they're giving me a hard time. Like my first initial visit to go get medication, it was a month and a half for me to wait a month and a half before I could go to my appointment. So I ended up going to the Lower Ridge. I went to Lower Ridge for 3 weeks. I got out, I had some medications, and then I went to my initial orientation visit. Well,
Just
after
one moment.
that,
Norma? Yes. Can you have pretrial services zoom in? We're gonna have pretrial services zoom in. Yes, just have a seat and we'll come back to you. They're all out of the office. So based upon what your client has told me, even though he wasn't under oath, and based upon what has happened here today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rule on the motions and I'm going to continue with all previous conditions. We can go off the record. This is what you need to do. When you call, you need to document the date and time you call. And you need to always make sure that you leave a message. You understand?
yes, ma'am.
What I would always tell my clients, I would say, do you know what your trustworthy is with everybody? And they'd say, oh, it's not that great. I would tell them it's less than 0. You have to build up your trust, right? So in order for you to build up your trust, you have their information, you call them, you leave a message, you document it, you write it down. This is the time I called, I left a message. If they have an email address for you and you can, email them and keep those records. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Because otherwise, what I'm looking at is what you're charged with. It's a crime of moral turpitude. And then you have, on the one hand, pretrial officer saying you never report it. You're saying you report it. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
That is why I always like for pretrial services officer to zoom in. So hopefully everybody can get on the same page. Like maybe they don't have your contact information. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So counsel, how much time are you requesting?
In reference to this matter, Judge, standard 3-4 week resets to look into the new case.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, if you can call Mr. Barry in 30 days, please. And we can put it as a discovery.
Which one?
I'll be February 27th.
And if you're still in custody and your counsel wants you brought over sooner, you can be brought over sooner. All right, do you have any other questions? All right, we will see you then. You're welcome.